Cashflow Savannah, where the dreamers dwell. Get your hustle on, ring that wealth bell. From the dirt to the gold, every story's untold. Cashflow Savannah, where ambition takes hold. Started with $1, stretched it to a mile. Every setback just a setup for style. Stacking paper, vision clearer than glass. Hustle game
Hello,
tight,
welcome
never
to Cashflow
moving too
Savannah.
fast.
My name is Julie Gates. Chandler is not here today. We're going to talk about him a lot, but he is not actually with us, sadly. It is just me. I did a presentation recently about this topic with other business owners, and it went really well. I was actually shocked by the feedback I got, and it hit me that I should really do this presentation for you all. As you well know, I'm here to educate. I really enjoy learning. I enjoy getting better, getting smarter. I love to be around high-level people, so I'm honored, that maybe someone thinks I'm good at one thing, but as a business owner, I'm going hard for AI. The more money I can save, the more money I can actually earn. And it's tough to be a small business owner these days. Staffing has gone up, our insurance costs have gone up. It's been brutal. So as a small business owner, I'm always looking for ways to cut costs and cut it from somewhere else. So at Civis here, Team 912, the other companies that I own, I have no intention of losing any staff. I really enjoy my team. In fact, I need a few more team members. But if I can just add more business without upping my expenses, then that's going to be a more profitable business for me. And I'm sure many of you are thinking in the same vein. So being in real estate, whether you have one rental house or 27, you're a small business owner. That in itself is a small business. And you need to be thinking, how can I optimize? How can I do better? How can I keep more, right? So the less you spend, arguably, the more you earn. So I've been very hard for AI for quite a while. I do remember when it came out several years ago, I was amazed and I started, kind of learning it. I did set a goal for myself in the past year that I was going to use AI for an hour a day. And I didn't set any parameters around that. I just set that goal. And I have to say that that has really set me on a learning journey. So when it came down to Sid was here, I realized that we were really having a hard time with the phones. And I was wanting to add more AI into the company. We had started to use it to create listings and descriptions and rewrite emails, things like that. It's very, very helpful. But I said, you know what? I don't want to hire another staff member. Training them is a nightmare. All of our systems, I'm going to get AI. And one thing that I did learn, being here in the Southeast, people don't really want to talk to someone with an accent. They want to talk to someone that sounds like they do. And I respect that, but it's tough. A lot of my staff has accents and they live here. So the issue wasn't really where they lived or if they were foreign or US. The issue was that they had an accent and people would have a hard time understanding them. So I knew I wanted to add an AI bot to my business. And after looking at what we did, I realized that 30 to 50% of our phone traffic was long-term rental tenants. And they were seeing our sign in the yard or they were seeing it on the MLS, maybe on Zillow or Zumper or apartments.com, and they were calling the number and they were asking the same thing over and over and over. And that was, hey, I'm at this property. What's the rent? What are the requirements? It was the same thing over and over. And I said, okay, that's a repetitive task. So I'm going to go over after that with my AI bot. So that's where it started. Well, naturally, I went looking for a company to do this for me. Okay, that was my original plan was I'm not an AI expert. I'm not even a tech expert. I just really like it. I want to add it into my company. How can I do it? So I tried to find who was doing the best voice bots. And I heard about this one company. So I reached out to them. And so this guy reached out back and he had a different name, but he said he was with them. And I said, okay, cool. So we did a demo and the guy was great. He was very personable. He was very knowledgeable. I really enjoyed speaking with him. And he said, do you want to hear, a demo of our work? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So he played a recording. Okay. And the recording was of a gentleman calling and talking to what he thought was a human, but it was actually an AI bot. And this gentleman went on and on and on with his stories. And, the bot kept redirecting him, giving him pricing, whatever. It was a very interesting conversation. In fact, he knocked it out of the park. I was very, very impressed with what this guy could do. I said, wow, that's awesome. I want that for my business. I want someone to call and not even realize. And he said, yeah, I can do it. Well, then he got to pricing and he said, it's going to be $1,500 for the bot. And I thought, oh, everything is expensive, right? But when it's a one-time charge, I was like, okay, I'll figure it out, whatever. But what really got me was he said, after we create the bot for you, it's going to be $700 a month in perpetuity. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, we run our systems. We're going to train the bot. We'll fix it if it breaks, basically all these things that you hope never happen. And I got off the call and I just thought, $700 a month in perpetuity, that's a lot of money. I don't mind the one-time cost, but that really is what gave me pause. And I'm telling you, this guy had a great demo. I wanted to hire him. He was great. I had nothing wrong with anything except that $700 a month. And you're looking at that going, gosh, if I quit using this bot in the future, now my phone is shut down and it's gone. Everything I've done is gone. All the money I've invested is just gone. And so that really bothered me. Well, another guy reached out and said he was also an affiliate with the company. And I said, okay, let's talk to this guy. Maybe he's cheaper. So this guy, we got on a call. He wasn't quite as professional as the first guy, and his pricing was actually quite similar. And I thought, man, and he played a demo for me. And unbelievably, the demo that the guy number two brought in was the same demo. Different guy, different company. He was using the exact same demo of the same AI bot. And I didn't say anything, but I felt like I had been slapped in the face. I knew I was being lied to by someone. Now, maybe they all worked on this bot, but I kind of doubt it. And it hit me that I didn't know these people. They didn't know me. I didn't know where they got this demo or even who did the work at that point. And I have trust issues anyway. So when that second demo happened, I was like gutted. I was like, it's not even about the $700 anymore. I can't trust anyone. And as a small business owner, like I've been taken advantage of plenty. I'm sure you have as well. I've had a million people come in and say, oh, I'll do your advertising and it's just this much a month. They didn't do jack. I mean, they got me to sign a contract and they did the bare minimum. And I've seen it before. And I was really, really, really upset hearing that second demo when he used the exact same scenario and tape as the other guy used. They knew it was a great demo and they were playing it and making money. And I was really upset. So I did nothing. Okay. But I just had this vision. And what I wanted to do was to clone Chandler. I said, I know my clients want to speak to people that sounds like them. And I need a South Georgia accent. I'm from Tennessee, so mine doesn't count. And so I had to make that uncomfortable phone call one day. I said, Chandler, can I clone you? He was like, what? And so I said, I want to clone you. So I just had this plan to clone Chandler, but I didn't know how to do it. I really wasn't an expert. I'm still not an expert. Okay. I want to say that I'm making this video as a beginner. I'm owning that. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but I'm going to show you how I did it. And I'm telling you flat out, if I can do it, I know that you can do it. So backing up with my story, I knew for sure I was not going to hire a professional. Number one, because I had lost all trust in these complete strangers. And number two, that $700 a month payment that I was going to have to make forever, it just really bothered me. So those two things really kind of finished me off. Well, my very, very good friend Shama, she told me, she said, Julie, you can do it yourself. And I said, no, I cannot. And she said, yes, you can. And she gave me just a few tips. And based on some info I had gotten from her and another good friend of mine, Chrissy, who's really big into AI, I put all the pieces together and I was able to clone Chandler and I was able to make a voice AI bot to answer the phone as Sid was here. And I'm very proud of it. So what we're going to do today, I wanted to give you my backstory and make sure you understand I am not a professional. So if you come in and kind of judge me on this, it's okay. I can take it, but just please know that I am not telling you that I know everything and I'm definitely not selling you anything. I'm literally just doing this video for you just to help the world. Okay. To tell you you can do it. I did it. You did it. I have nothing to gain. I'm happy to help you in the future if you need help, but just be gentle. That's all I'm trying to say. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through my process. Okay. And you may not need an AI bot for your business. I don't know what your needs are, but if you do, I hope you'll learn something here. And if you learn something, tell me too, because I want to learn as well. I have big plans for this bot, but just the fact that I've gotten it this far just on my own, ish, like with help from friends, obviously, but I own this. This is my bot. It's my technology. I own all the websites affiliated with making it run. And I'm really proud to say that. Okay. And if I can do this, I know that you can too. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my process with you. And I genuinely hope that you learn something from this. So stay tuned, be gentle. Like I said, this is definitely not my field of expertise. So I'm going to share my screen. This is Prompt Perfector. This is a free, it's a GPT. It's one of the GPTs on ChatGPT. Sorry, I'm not an AI expert, but my girl, Chrissy Myers, who I love so much, she taught me this. And she said, AI is all about the prompt. Okay. And that's probably your first lesson, which is you need to use a prompt perfecter, especially when you're doing something that's complicated. Just typing something into ChatGPT, you may or may not get what you want. But if you can be very specific with ChatGPT, it's going to give you exactly what you want. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Let me first, before I do my prompt, let me go to ChatGPT and kind of just show you my process. Now, just for context, I use another AI. It's called Whisperflow, and I'm obsessed with it. I do a lot of typing and emailing and texting from my computer, and I don't like to type. So I will be using my one finger. I'm going to hold down one button. I'm going to speak into my computer, and it's going to type out everything I say, including punctuation. So it's really wonderful. So in case you think I'm crazy, I just want to explain I'm also using a different AI to talk to my ChatGPT AI. So here we go. I want to create a custom chatbot for my business. I'm sorry, I'm going to create a custom voice bot. What systems should I be proficient in order to create a bot like this to answer my phone? I apologize. I'm kind of rambling here. So you can see on my screen, everything I just said has been typed out, including the question mark and period. So let's first research the systems. I could have told you this, but I want you to know how to do it yourself. So ChatGPT is thinking. So you want to make sure you understand the systems that are going to be needed for the bot, and then you're going to put that into your prompt. Okay. So it's saying to build a phone answering custom voice bot, here's what you should be comfortable with, organized from the ground up and tailored for an inbound only bot that plugs into Go High Level. Go High Level is the system that I use to house my Chandler bot. But I have nothing to gain saying that. There are many systems that can do that. So it's telephony, call routing, real-time speech, conversational brain, knowledge and retrieval, orchestration integration. Okay, so it's saying two common build path, low code. Now this is definitely, when I'm looking, this is what I used was the low code option. N8N, Vector DB, serverless webhook, real-time LLM, voice stack. Okay, cool. Great. So this is giving me all of the things that I need. Okay, I'm asking ChatGPT what systems should I be proficient in. It's telling me it's still typing. I'm so sorry. Okay, and then right here we have these two squares, and I'm going to click it. That's going to copy it. Now I'm going to go back to my prompt perfecter. Okay, so here I'm going to type in, I want to clone my employee Chandler. I'm going to hire someone on Upwork to do the job. I need you to create a prompt so that I can create a really great job posting. I need whoever accepts the job post to be proficient in these things. Okay. And then I'm going to shift enter, and then I'm going to paste what ChatGPT told me. And I'm just going to remove the bottom little part here. I can be extra, but there's no need. I want to be quick. And then I'm going to hit enter. This is on prompt perfecter. This is going to make me the prompt. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. This is exactly the process that I took, I'm going to say a month or two ago, creating a job post prompt. Okay. I'm going to ignore the questions. Okay, we're going to pretend like this is the most perfect prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the prompt. I'm being very extra here. And then I'm going back over to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, I'm just removing the questions and the next steps because I'm not going to take forever on this. Well, there are a lot of possible additions. ChatGPT is just so thorough. It's wonderful. So please create a job post for me. I will be posting on Upwork to hire someone. Below is all of the information that I need in the job post. Please add to it that I will be offering $1,000 to someone to do this AI bot. Okay. And that is what I paid. I said, well, if they're wanting 1,500, I'm going to do it on my own for 1,000. I have no idea. You could probably do it for less. So I've put my prompt into ChatGPT, copy and paste. That's all I've really done. Now ChatGPT has said, here's a polished Upwork job post that you can copy and use. Title, build custom inbound voice AI bot with Go High Level integration, $1,000 project. Okay, you can see the responsibilities, required skills, bonus skills, ideal candidate to apply, blah, blah, blah. ChatGPT just did all of that for me in under 5 minutes. Okay, now if you haven't heard of Upwork, I really love Upwork. I haven't used them a ton, but I will be using them even more in the future because I'm going to keep improving this, and I will be using people off of Upwork. And interestingly enough, as AI has increased, some of these tech companies are doing very well and some are doing very poorly. And Fiverr is another tech company, and that's where you can employ someone for $5 to do things like graphic design or create a website or whatever. Fiverr has actually gone downhill. They've recently fired 30% of their workforce, unfortunately. But Upwork has gone crazy. And a lot of these foreign workers that are proficient in AI, they are on Upwork. I had half a dozen of them. Oh, shoot, it was way more than half a dozen. So, anyway, so now ChatGPT, I'm going to copy this, right? I clicked the two boxes and I hit copy. Now I'm going to Upwork. It is free to create an account on Upwork. So I am logged in. I'm going to post a job and look at this. What do you need done? Look here. I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to remove this question. Would you like me to blah, blah, blah? But ChatGPT already gave me everything. And I'm going to hit enter. Character limit exceeded. Oh, interesting. Anyway, that's literally all I did. You don't need to see me, hit it into a post. But I made sure this cleared everything that I needed. I offered my $1,000. Now, the thing I really appreciated about Upwork, and I have nothing to gain telling you about Upwork, okay? I'm not selling anything. I don't know, whatever you do is up to you. But when I hired someone, I had multiple, probably 50 people apply for this job, and I ended up turning it off. After a while, you don't need 50 applicants, you need maybe 10, okay? And on Upwork, it's a rating system, which I appreciate. You can see how many jobs they've done. You can see their reviews. You can read their reviews. You can see if they're a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. After researching Upwork a little bit on my own, actually, my friend Shama, she told me, she said, don't hire anyone that has made less than $20,000 on Upwork. I think the person I hired had maybe made 13,000. But anyway, there are a lot of capable people. I knew that there was more than one that could probably do the job, but I ended up picking 2 or 3 that I really felt were strong candidates. I interviewed each of them on Zoom, and the one that I liked the best and I felt like I could work with, I hired that person. Okay. It was literally that simple. I had not spent one penny at that point, and I already had my own AI bot person. So the way Upwork works is that you aren't to take them off of Upwork, and I didn't. So once I accepted this person, who did a great job, may I say, I put $1,000 on my Amex, and that went into Upwork. And that was the carrot for them. They knew I had paid and that they were going to get paid as soon as the bot was complete. My prompt was tight and right. I spent a lot more time on my prompt than I did for this video, but I really worked it in what Chandler was going to do, where he was going to transfer, blah, 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 blah. I really put a lot of effort into going, okay, this is the system I have. This is what I want it to do. This is how I want it to do it. I knew exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know how to program it. So once I hired someone, you go into Upwork and you say, whatever, Joe Smith, you're hired. So I clicked on that person. I said, you are hired. You have the job. That took everyone else out of the running. And they also left me alone at that point, which was great. And I started to work with this person. Now, because I did it on my own, there are a couple of extra websites that you need. You need 11 Labs for the cloning, Vapey, like there were some different sites, but they knew all of that. And they told me, they said, we need this recording. So I got Chandler to record. And they didn't even have a script for him to record off of. So you know what I did? I went just like this. This is how easy it was. I went to ChatGPT. I'm going to clone my employee. I need him to read a piece of material that covers all of the sounds of the English language. Please write a piece of information for me so that I can have him read it to capture his voice. Enter. Voice training script. Okay, look at this. Numbers. So this is what Chandler had to go through. Hello, my name is Chandler. I'm reading this passage so you can learn how my voice sounds. You will hear me speak casually, clearly, and sometimes with emphasis. Let's begin. He had to read every letter of the alphabet, all the numbers. He had to read all this stuff, phoneme written sentences. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Poor Chandler. So anyway, if you can see my screen, it's quite a bit. It took 5 or 10 or 20 minutes for him to record. But he was able to do it in a few minutes. I paid him for his time. I paid him. And so that was their first request. They said, we're going to need his recording. So I had him record it on his phone with all these phonemes and letters, and he sent it over. So I sent it. And then they said, okay, Julie, you need You need to have an account over here. And I did have to put my credit card into a couple of accounts. But at the end of the day, I paid $1,000 for the bot, and I'm also paying for these other websites. There are two different websites that support the bot, plus I use Go High Level. Already paying for Go High Level because my phone system is in there, okay? So I'm not counting that as a cost because it's already a fixed cost for me, but I'm paying about $30 a month for these other websites that support the bot. And that is nothing compared to $700 a month. And it's all mine. I mean, no one can come in and turn off my chat bot. Like, not, I keep saying chat bot, my voice bot. So at the end of the day, they did a great job. It's completely mine. And I've now continued to hire these people to help me even make it better. I'm going to add different things on. But anyway, as part of this video, I want to show you how Chandler works, and it's great. And I want to say a big thank you to some of my friends because I came to the meetup and I had mentioned that Chandler was answering the phones. And so quite a few of my friends started calling and testing Chandler, and I actually got some great feedback. And I'm proud to say when I did this presentation about how I created an AI bot for these business owners just last week, I asked it some questions and I hung up, and then I called back. Sid was here, and I held my phone out to the audience. I said, okay, I want y'all to ask Chandler questions. So different guys said, hey, how about this? How about this? And one of them even asked Chandler restaurant recommendations, and Chandler gave them restaurant recommendations. And I was so excited because I never programmed that. So I am proud to say, as a large language model, it learns, okay? And it's not going to be perfect day one. You have to understand that. But I knew that going in. I've kind of been testing bots for a while. And I was so excited. I was like, did he just give you restaurant recommendations? And one thing that I had gotten from when my friends were calling was one of them said, hey, I asked Chandler about short-term rentals, and it said you didn't manage short-term rentals. And I was like, no way. This is like a week after I had the bot. I was like, you are kidding me. I never told Chandler we managed short-term rentals. I was so focused on him answering the phone and then helping long-term rental property inquiries. I really didn't say much else about what we did at Sid Was Here. And so I had trained Chandler, hey, if they ask about a long-term rental, give them the info. And then if you can't answer the question, just transfer it to a human. I didn't really think about anything else, right? Because we can't think of it all. And so I just encourage you, once you get your bot, like tell people, like don't be shy. I think it's kind of cool. And say, hey, can you call it? Because you're going to think of things that I don't. When you create the bot, you're never going to think of everything that comes through the door of your business. And I definitely didn't. And I have to say that I'm just a really big believer in criticism, and I'm very thankful in the best way possible that people called the phone for me and then criticized in the form of giving me feedback of going, hey, it didn't do this, it messed up on that. Thank you. I had no idea. I also get the chat transcripts, but I don't always. So anyway, I'm now going to call Sid Was Here, and hopefully Chandler performs perfectly. I'm going to show you what it sounds like, but I'm really proud of it. Okay. Don't be too hard on me. It's not perfect, but this was something that I worked hard at. I'm going to improve, and it's really going to make a big difference in my business. So I'm going to call that now, and I will show you what Chandler does. He's fantastic. He's a great human, and he's a great AI bot. So here we go.
Thank you for calling Sid Was Here. How can I help you today?
Hi, is this Chandler?
Yes, this is Chandler from Sid Was Here. May I have your name, please?
My name is Martha.
Hi, Martha. How can I help you today?
I'm calling about one of your rental properties.
Hey, Martha. Could you please tell me the street name or address of the rental property you're interested in? I'll check the details for you right away.
Yes, the property I'm interested in is on 69th Street.
Martha, let me check for you. Please give me one moment while I look up the property on 69th Street. Great news, Martha. I found a 3-bedroom home near Memorial Hospital at 1319 East 69th Street in Savannah, Georgia, zip code 31404. It's available now for $1,700 a month. Cats and dogs are allowed there too. Does that answer your question, or would you like any other details about this property?
Yeah, one of the rental requirements to rent this house.
Sure thing, Martha. For that property, the rental requirements include a $50 application fee and a security deposit of $1,700. Does that help, or would you like me to share any other details?
What about my credit score?
Martha, I understand that credit score is very important. For rental approval, our team generally looks for a good credit score, but specific requirements can vary depending on the property. If you'd like, I can transfer you to a team member who can review your credit concerns and guide you through the application process. Would you like me to do that?
That's okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help.
You're very welcome, Martha. I'm glad I could help. If you have any other questions about this property or anything else, just give me a call. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Take care and have a great day.
That was my AI bot. And then just to add a little bit more on top, we'll see if it comes through. But I have my bot trained that when I call about a rental property, it's going to text me back with the address, like the link to the listing on our website where you can see what it is. Yeah, I just got it. Okay, so I just got this message from Sid was here. It says, hi, I'll show you this. I've tested it so many times. I don't know if you can read it, but anyway, it says, hi, Martha. Here's the link to the property. So if I click that, it's going to show the listing. And then if you'd like to move forward, you can apply here. So it sent me, I've tested this a million times, but it sent me two links. Okay. So this is speeding us up into renting these properties because the person can call, get the rental info, get the requirements, and apply right from their phone. And I didn't have to have a human do that. And as I said before, I programmed Chandler, if you get stuck, transfer it. It's fine. And then after, my friend told me that Chandler told them that we didn't manage short-term rentals, I said, oh goodness. So what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, read this website. So I gave it sidwashere.com. ChatGPT read my website. I said, now do a synopsis, a very brief synopsis on what we do. And ChatGPT spit out like 2 or 3 paragraphs about Sid was here. I then copied that. I pasted it into Chandler's brain, which I own because I get to control everything. It's my bot. And as soon as I added that into Chandler's brain, what we do, which included short-term rental management, I solved it. Ever since I've called back a couple of times, hey, do you manage short-term rentals? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. I think it sounds great. It's definitely not perfect. Again, I own it and I can add to it anytime. I'm just so excited. So this weekend I was talking to one of my teammates and I said, hey, I'm going to add to the bot. Like I finished this part, time for phase 2. And I told her what my idea was, and which was I was going to have a bot work on work orders. And she said, actually, we need something else next. And I said, okay, great, because I'm not on the phone as much as my staff. And she said, we manage a self-storage facility. And she said, people call all the time needing to make a payment, even though it's an auto pay system. She said, we take tons of calls over the phone. So that's actually my next job for the people that have helped me build the Chandler bot. They're going to now add into Chandler's brain. If someone asks about the storage facility and they need to make a payment, he's going to pass them off onto another bot. Okay, because you have to have a bot for every little system. And so that bot will log into our storage facility software, find the unit number that matches their name, like Miss Smith is on unit 12, and it'll take the payment over the phone and run the credit card, and no human will be needed. And honestly, I think Chandler sounds so good. Hopefully a human isn't needed. So if we can take a lot of these tasks off of my team, they're a lot more freed up to do other things. They get overwhelmed very quickly. The phones have been kind of crazy, and I'm just so excited about the capability of AI. These things aren't complicated, but someone has to handle it. And we want someone on the phone 24/7. And I'm really proud that I can say that we have that. So we're really pushing AI. I love AI. I want more. Okay. I want my company to be the best. I don't ever want to run any company that I'm not doing my absolute best for it. So I really hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you're able to add AI into your company, no matter what that looks like. Please comment on this video. I really would like your feedback. Please be gentle. Okay. I kind of bumbled around till I figured it out. And I truly hope that my experience will speed you up, because this was probably 6 months in the making, just because I kept hitting my head against the wall and I'd try this and no, it didn't work. And I'd try that and that was terrible. And, finally, when my girl Shama said, these are the key words, go to Upwork and do it yourself. That's what I needed. And that's what I'm here to tell you. You can do it yourself. And, just be in control of your own systems. If it's your company, you don't want to ever be beholden to someone else to where they turn the lights off and your business suffers. You do not want that for your business. So I really hope this is helpful. I know it's a very short video. I'm sorry Chandler wasn't here in person, but you did get to hear his voice. And I want to give a big shout out to my people on Upwork that helped me. I think they did a great job. And now we're going to work together for a long time. Like I already told them, I'm going to need more and more. And they're excited. They did one job for me and they're going to do the rest. And it's just really great. And honestly, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't have to use them again. I'd go back to Upwork and I'd find someone else. But because I already have them on the hook, I trust them, I like them, I'm going to keep working with them. I'm a very much a long-term girl. I'd rather use the same person all the time. And I know that they needed the work. So it just worked out so well. I'm just very, very excited about the future, and I'm proud of what I did, even though it's kind of basic. But I'm proud of it. I'm thinking outside the box and I'm trying to do better. And I hope that you are as well. I hope this helps you. And I just really want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful. And if I can be of service in the future, please let me know. And if you have any other things that you'd like for me to talk about, I try to do a lot of things that are very tech forward. Maybe I should talk about that more, but please comment in the comments below. I do read every single one. I do appreciate it. And I just hope this is helpful to you. I wish you a wonderful day. If you ever need help with anything real estate related in Savannah, Georgia, I am your girl. Again, my name is Julie Gates, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Started with $1, stretched it to a mile. Every setback just a setup for style. Stacking paper, vision clearer than glass. Hustle game tight, never moving too fast. Fields of green, seeds of sweat I sow.